Stream. One of the things about the Universal Church of the Master is that when I talk about it being inclusive, we here at the Center for Creative Living, when we're doing work with people, we've ordained a lot of ministers, and I was looking at where did they come from to become ordained here at the Universal Church of the Master. We've had people who do Reiki, Vortex, various healing modalities. We have healing ministers that do regenesis. We have healing ministers that do massage. We have healing ministers that do acupressure. I mean, we have so many healing ministers that almost every one of our rooms has a massage table in there. But then we have the big table where Dr. Ayleen does chiropractic. I mean, she has a 900-pound table that she does. But we also, as ministers, we have people who follow the goddess path. We have people who are Celtic. We have people who are Druid. We have shaman ministers. We have interfaith ministers, pastoral ministers, Native American ministers, psychic ministers, musical ministers, Bible-centered ministers, peace activist ministers, Buddhist ministers, and many more. And they're all working for a positive and peaceful planet. And each one of them, when they come here, we're going to be talking about who you are as a minister. But each one of you, whether you're ordained or not, is a minister. Think of what you do with your life. When you help somebody, when somebody is crying and you listen to what they have to say, you're being a minister. When somebody is going through such a difficult time, they can't even talk about it, but you sit and hold their hand, you're being a minister. When people are in the hospital and nobody's going to see them, and you hear this and you go, you're being a minister. So when you think of what is your ministry, each one of you has some type of ministry. But what's wonderful about UCM, the Universal Church of the Master, is you take that ministry that you know is uniquely yours, and you bring into it wonderful, wonderful principles, wonderful energy. One of the people that we have that if I can run through my notes for just 1 minute here, that talked is we follow a text. And what's wonderful about this is that I can't find it right now. Oh well, that's one of those things of staying up too late at night, and and that is B.J. Fitzgerald, and he wrote, "Too long have we been divided and at odds in religious expression.
Amen.
It is time for all persons of truly spiritual disposition to close ranks and unite for the common welfare, preserving at the same time the characteristic individuality of their particular faith." And that is one of the founders of our faith. And that's written in a handbook that we have to study before we can take our final test. Well, to have Dr. B.J. talking about that in, what year was that? Do you remember, Mary?
I think it was before the 40s, so it was the late 30s.
Is it before the 40s? He and I were running around at the same time. An old dude. Yeah, and it's one of those things that we really adhere to. And so now what we're going to do is, I'm going to nod at Regina. Okay, and Regina is taking Joyce into the other room. And we're not even going to tell you what she's going to do in there, okay? Another room.
If you hear me yelling, come. If you hear her moaning, stay away.
As you can tell, this isn't your typical church. Inside, you have a purple flyer. That's right. Okay.
Anybody need a program?
Yeah. Anybody need a program? And so I want you to stand as you are able, because we are going to sing this. And Rita and Ronnie, did you want to just mention something about this song? Kat, are you going to come up here? Wonderful. And I bet that means I have to move.
No, you didn't.
Okay, what this song is during slavery, this song not only served to lift spirits, but it had dual meaning to those in bondage. And many times it served as a direct signal to slaves embarking on the difficult and dangerous journey north to freedom along the Underground Railroad. It really cracks me up as you can tell, but anyway.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you as excited as I am to be here?
Yeah, woo!
Maybe not flat.
Well, stick around.
I would also like to. I know this is running off somewhere. I would also like to recognize Joyce's other half, because this isn't just Joyce's journey. This is Patty's journey. And sometimes it's a hard journey, trust me, to be a minister and to be, according to my husband, to be a minister's partner. But you're going to find that there are times when your phone rings at 3 o'clock in the morning and somebody needs Joyce. You're also there. And at the hospitals and the weddings and the baptisms and other things, you're also there. So I would like to personally honor you. Thank you.
Yay!
Enough of me running my mouth.
Yeah, that other was running off too.
Steal away,
Stand up, sing.
steal away, steal away, steal away, home, steal away, steal away, steal away. I ain't got long to stay. Steal away. Steal away, steal away, steal away, steal away, home, steal away, steal away. I ain't got long to stay here. My Lord, He calls me by the thunder. Trumpets sound within of my soul. I ain't got long to stay here. Steal away, steal away, steal away, steal away, home, steal away, steal away. I ain't got long to stay here. Green trees are bending, holes in the sand are trembling, trumpet sounds within of my soul. I ain't got long to stay here. Steal away, steal away, steal away, oh, steal away, home, steal away, steal away. I ain't got long to stay. I ain't got long to stay.
I would like you to, when I was talking to Joyce and I said, you have some people who like something to say. And she said, I think so, I got a couple. And so people sent in things they wanted to say, but they weren't going to be here. So we have other people that are going to read what they have to say. And the first person we start with is Solange. Woo-hoo! Hey, come on.
Go, girl.
Do you have something? Do you have something to say?
I do.
Okay.
Come on up to the front, please.
The reason we want you to use the microphone is this is being videotaped, and the only way we can get your voice is if you use the mic.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, you want to put that down?
Bring the mic down.
Hold the mic down.
Sorry about that. There you go.
In 1989, I had moved to Santa Cruz from New York, and I was looking for some guidance. And I found a copy of Common Ground, and every time I would open it, my eye would fall to the same page and the same ad. And it was Joyce's ad. I finally got the courage to call, and we set up an appointment. And I was on my way to meet her when, this was October 17th, 1989, when the earthquake happened, and I was on the bus. And I made it to the metro station, called Joyce. This was before the days of cell phones. And we didn't meet. A little time passed. And I always feel that day and that moment connected to the first time I met Joyce. And she opened the door, and my knees started shaking. And I thought, whoa, I didn't know what a powerful woman looked like until I met Joyce.
Right on.
Yeah.
She let me in, and we went up the stairs, and I went there, as I said, for some guidance. And I knew that I wanted to study the mystical arts, but I didn't know where to begin. And by the end of my session with Joyce, I knew that I wanted to study with her. And she opened me up to an infinite world of possibilities. And I understood that that power that she so naturally embraces was filled with so much love, and that we needed to have both to walk with grace, and that's what I feel Joyce embodies, is an incredible amount of grace.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Patty Baker, and I'm here today to represent a dear friend, Barbara Brodicom. She lives in Chico and was unable to join us today, but she did have a message for Joyce. Joyce Brown is being ordained today. What a blessing this event is for everyone involved. I am fortunate to call Joyce Brown and Patty Baker friends for over 35 years. Without hesitation, I can say that in regards to Reverend Brown, who you see is who you get. That's the way it's always been, and it's a good thing. Joyce practices what she teaches. She strives to she strives to recognize and embrace the truth of herself in this life and beyond. It takes self-respect, discipline, and practice, and a solid connection to spirit. Joyce welcomes the insights, the gifts that being open to spirit brings, and all of their manifestations. Her connection to spirit is steadfast, and she lives in the present more fully than anyone I know. All that Joyce has learned and all that she trusts gives her the grace to work with others with honesty. Joyce works from her heart. She shares from the heart. Joyce does not preach, she teaches. Her own path has blessed her with the compassion to recognize the truth in, for instance, my situation, whatever that may be, even if I don't. She guides me to it. And she offers tools to help me discover my own truth and take responsibility for it. Joyce is a gifted storyteller, and she has a repertoire of instructive and personal stories to share. More often than not, her support is offered with humor. I bless her every day for it, for her spirit is merriment. Coupled with her compassion and respect for humankind, for us, well, we can't help but benefit from Joyce's wisdom and good work, and count ourselves fortunate for it. I imagine you already know all of this about Joyce, otherwise you'd not be here today. Still, thank you for the opportunity to share a few thoughts about my sweet friend, Rev Joyce C. Brown. May the good and Holy Spirit continue to bless Joyce through the ages, and bless each of you as well. Thank you.
On the list.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. My name is Sue, and like Solange, I have a bit of history with this righteous woman over here on my right. And those of you that know Joyce, like I know Joyce, we both have the gift to talk, so I'll try to do my best to be brief about my adoration for this amazing woman. So I met Joyce at a time, it was 1990, when I was in crisis, and a friend of mine had been working with her and mentioned to me about her, and so I came to have a session with her like Solange, came in the front door and felt that instant, there's just an incredible peacefulness and serenity and a sense of protection when you enter into Joyce and Patty's home. You just feel like whatever's going on out there is out there, and you're in this temple of divine, loving presence. And I went upstairs into her office, and I tried to sit there all calm and cool, even though inside I was flipping out. And she just started laughing. I just thought, okay, what's going on? Someone's laughing at me. And I was like, okay. She's like, you're sitting there all calm, but boy, your energy is bouncing. And I was like, oh dear. And I was really vulnerable, like this woman can lead. So she's been there for me through all kinds of things, ups, downs, all arounds, and I think one of my favorite aspects of her is, besides her humor, is her storytelling, and the fact that when I'm talking to her, being that we're both Geminis, we get off on these tangents, and sometimes I'm often like, I don't know what this has to do with the apples we were talking about, because we're over here. But then later on, I'll be sitting in contemplation and be like, oh. So you get a lot more than maybe what you go to receive from Joyce. And it's her wisdom is so deep and so grounded in this loving awareness. And I just love that some people go to somebody for help, for them to tell what to do and to fix you. And Joyce works with you to find your own strength, like the woman who you read earlier spoke about how the fact that, you know, she somehow helps you to be the person that comes forward with that desire to change or to grow or to reflect or what have you. And that I really appreciate, because it just makes you feel more aligned within your center, who you are. And I just love that, like you said, the humor, and no matter in my, like, looking at my darkest shadow aspects and stuff, she still had me laughing. So the gift of humor and story, I would say, are two of my favorite qualities of her. And I could go on and on, but I'm somebody who enjoys singing, and as I was sitting over there, this song kept on kind of perking up in my back of my head, so I'm just going to share it with you if I may. Peace I ask of thee, O river, peace, peace, peace. When I learn to live serenely, cares will
follow, all are given unto me. Peace I ask of thee, O river, peace, peace, peace. So, blessings to you, sweet sister. My friend that's 7-year-old trapped in a older woman's body. That's a 7-year-old inside of this grown-up body. So never lose that. We Joyce, that's just sassy, kicky, and fun. So, blessings on you.
Yeah.
At least you don't have to adjust the mic. Message from Ursine and Mark Evans. Greetings, my friend, sister, and counselor. I am not here with you today, so therefore, I send my spirit to help light up this day for you and the Universal Church of the Masters. Congratulations, Reverend Joyce C. Brown. Thank you so much, my friend, for showing all of us our true beauty. Always, Ursine Evans. A poem called A Pauper in Paradise. A larger than life are those shrunken wings, a lasting strain this sparrow sings. A paradise pure is a pauper's rhyme, a child of heart lost in time. Mark Evans.
I'm Leslie, but I go by Lolly. It's a given name that my grandmother gave me many years ago. I'm so grateful to be here today. I haven't known Joyce as long as Sue or Solange, or maybe many of you. I've known her through Sue. I've known of her. I met her distantly many years ago as she ordained and ministered a wedding of some dear friends of mine. It was like 25, maybe 30 years ago, but I remember being back in just her presence then and having like a distant love for her and not even knowing why. Recently, some things have come up in Sue Magoo. That's why she's so silly, because her name's Sue Magoo. She has shared over the years the gift of Joyce. And recently I've had the courage to actually call on, I've been in the transformational stage, and I called Joyce a couple of times and scheduled a session with her. And I've seen her twice, but the gift of Joyce to me is a guide and a love and a woman with such an open heart and a non-judgmental spirit that I was able to come in and really share and feel so safe and grounded. She's gifted me with trusting my own inner guide and supported me in knowing that what I know is real and true. Guided me in different, I'm in menopause, so my brain kind of leaves me sometimes. Guided me in, skills isn't the right word, but exercise. exercises, that's the word. Thank you, Spirit. It's little exercises to support me in my growth and development and trust of self. And when I sit with her, we have these little diagrams, and I also really love her gift of smiles and giggles and being able to see in me some things that I wasn't able to see, and point out certain gifts that I have. And so I'm just so grateful today. I'm so grateful to be here and to give back and be of service and love to Joyce. And I'm so excited that you're getting ordained today, and you could actually start your own church in Santa Cruz. So I don't know what you'll do in the future, but I want you to know I am of service and love, and I'm grateful that you are a sister and a mother and a guide and an auntie and a friend. And it's
Hello there.
Hi.
My name is Judy, but everybody knows me by JJ.
JJ.
And the first time I met Joyce, actually I had been taking classes with Dottie, and there was a fair that came up. And during the fair, I walked down the aisle, there was readers, and I thought to myself, who should I pick to read me? And I kept being drawn to Joyce. Being a smart ass that I am, I walked up to her and I said, why should I pay you to tell me what I already know? And she just blurted it right out. Something that no one else knew but me. I said, I'll be right back. And I paid my money, got my ticket, so that's where our journey started. And then we started taking classes, and she had workshops at her home. That's how I met Solange. And we had a journey that has been incredible. We took workshops not only with Joyce, but we worked with Dr. David Morehouse, the Psychic Warrior. We took classes with Dr. Brian Weiss. We did the Reiki. And then she helped me hone in on my power, because at the time I was going through some issues and I needed some guidance, just like Solange did. So I would have meetings, and we would have these little retreats. We would get together, and we discovered our own power, how to harness that, and how to help other people and be of service to other people. She's amazing. She can take anybody who thinks that their life isn't worth anything, and she can help you turn it around.
Wonderful.
Yes. So just know that I already see. That's another thing. She helped me open up my gifts. I already see her with her own church. Okay. You're welcome.
Okay.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
She means it too.
Oh, but this is actually Glory.
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 Two hugs. All right.
And I got a text from her this morning and she says, whoever gets this message, say hello to my CCL family out loud to everybody, because I know it's time for church to start, and please let Reverend Joyce C. Brown know that although we're not sure about this word, it's either high or not high, or maybe she means away, I'm not sure. But anyway, she said, my heart is in California, in CCL right now, and I love you all. Gloria.
Yeah, great.
And then, but wait, yeah, to Joyce. Like a scattered seed, I drifted into this amazing garden. I began to sink into the nurturing surroundings and sprout. And so the transformation began, nestled within the chrysalis of this community, creating the butterfly. Occasionally, I longed for family, home, the South. Then came you, buzzing from the other side of the hill like a big old bumblebee. Strumming your sweet stories that resonated with my fondest childhood memories, cajoling me from the depths to embrace the bright new day. Your presence gives me connection, both words, and lets me know it's really okay. Most of all, you inspire me, your strength, your stamina. You see, I remember, scientifically, bumblebees are not supposed to fly, but they do, and you do too. I'm grateful for you in my life. Congratulations on your inauguration. Remember that? I mean ordination. My darling friend, keep teaching, sharing your stories, shining your light, and believing you can fly. I love you dearly, Lori.
Once upon a time, in a land not far from here, Dottie held classes in the haunted James Lick mansion. One eventful evening, in walked Joyce C. Brown to talk about master angels. Not your average, ordinary angels, mind you, but a whole different kind of angels to help in the most unique ways of thinking of their abilities to do angel work. And so began my friendship with Joyce and her partner Patty. Now, none of us are old yet, but it's becoming more difficult as the years pass to deny it was only yesterday we met and began this journey together. So over the days of the yesteryears, I spent time learning with Joyce and the unique way she has of sharing her wisdom. Wisdom that opened the possibilities of various ways to interact in our world and the people we come across in our life. I will admit that Joyce's wisdom-filled words of, "Oh girl, you better be careful if you start messing with that," has caused me to stop and rethink what I was thinking. Or my favorite when I called, "All right, give me a minute to get comfortable, get my pad of paper and pencil." And then it was, "Okay, so now Regina, tell me, what did you get yourself into this time?" And thus learning with Joyce began. No matter how abstract the subject matter may be, Joyce made sense out of it. She always made learning fun regardless of the seriousness of the teachings. Now, before Joyce, I did not know that the blue-footed Bobby existed. And that day, Joyce managed to use the blue-footed booby as part of our meditation, encouraging the endless possibilities of creation and beyond. I was so pleased when Joyce shared that she was going to join the UCM family. I knew it was going to be a great journey for her, one that would solidify opportunities to share her wisdom as a teacher, counselor, and now a reverend. And I know in my heart what a wonderful soul Joyce C. Brown is, and I know in my heart that she will be a fabulous representative of the UCM family and in her journey forward as a UCM reverend.
I didn't expect the blue footage.
I got a picture of it in my phone.
Anna, there you are.
Good morning. I met Joyce Brown back in 1997. Patty and I had gone to acupuncture school, 5 branches in Santa Cruz. And one of the first things when I met Joyce, I'll never forget this, was she said, Anna, turn around. I said, what? There's a dark shadow that's following you. I need to clear it off. And I said, really? She says, yes, Anna, turn. So she did the clearing, and the shadow disappeared. And then I realized, wow, I've come a long ways to a different world, a world of meeting Joyce Brown. So throughout the times being together, we had gone to a spiritual retreat up at Land of Medicine Buddha. And I remember we were working on opening up our third eye. So we were there meditating, all of us. And I said, Joyce, after the retreat, I said, Joyce, I saw you. She said, oh, really? I said, yes. I saw you. You were a very tall African man in Africa.
Yes.
And you had a long pole that was at least 7 feet tall. And you had a long robe. And you were traveling with a lion.
Yes.
I said, Joyce, I saw you. She says, yes, Anna, I've known about this lion. He's traveled with me. I've known about this. That was my beginning of my friendship with Joyce. So as years have passed, I've had tremendous amount of challenges in my life. Joyce and Patty know. But they've helped me incredibly, amazingly to turn it around, like everyone has said. But I wrote something just about a week ago, because I had gone back to their house about 2 weeks ago, but they weren't there. But I will tell you what I wrote when I entered into their garden, entering to their house. As I walked up the door of Joyce Brown's house, I wondered why it was so warm, but the door, as it was solid frame, stands firmly. The door is doing its job, I thought, holding back those who weren't allowed. However, the door, when it was open, it's an entrance to something like entering a Shangri-La of peace. It's an entrance to a time warp. So many times I've gone through that door, the entrance of Joyce Brown's house, but once inside it's filled with an arena of peace. As I look out the window, the garden is bustling with life. The little birds nibbling on the freshly delicate greens. But Joyce said, they too love salads. Sitting on Joyce's sofa, it's a seat, warm, comfortable, and soft. A comfortable place overlooking the fireplace. Around it has a little stuffed animals which she has named, and they have traveled with her. On that sofa, we've had many conversations filled with laughter, sadness, deep concern, and wonder. But once you leave Joyce Brown's house, you no longer have such concerns or sadness. The door opens up again into the outside world, but this time, after long conversations and deep thought with Joyce, your mind is clear. You no longer have the heaviness of the world. This time, after long conversations, your body is strengthened. You walk upright, knowing what to do. Joyce Brown's house, although worn and torn, her front door, exterior, interior is different. It's just a facade. Because once inside, you rejuvenated, cleaned, and cleared. The worries of life are outside. The interior door, its paint intact, its smooth surface polished, and its bolts tightened and firm, strongly standing upright. But this is how you feel after long conversations with Joyce. Her stance is strong, her insight, clarity of the world is amazing, and you feel rejuvenated, walking with a plan and a purpose. She is ever so positive. The life outside is like her exterior door, with withered, worn, and paint, reflecting life and its struggle from the outside. However, after being in the time work with Joyce, these feelings are all gone. This is how you feel when you're with Joyce Brown. Everything you've done for me, I appreciate it so much, and I love you so deeply. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now I'd lean over and hug you, but I ended up in your lap and be so awkward. I just know that I honor you. I'm having surgery on the 26th for a hip. Otherwise, I'm undiseased, I think. My name is Reverend Mary Gary, and don't let the hair dye fool you. I've been around for a long time. My husband and I have sponsored a lot of ministers. My first role here is to give Joyce a message from Roberta Wong. So let's start with that. She's, on this day there is before you a dear friend of many years and lifetimes. She is one of those friends who are there for you and will do all she can to be there and to listen from her heart and soul. This quality is very important to have in a life, and this quality is one that is most suited to being a reverend. I am pleased to share my feelings through words that come from my heart and soul, words that I feel are flowing into the universe, words that are received by all who are listening on this day as my dear friend becomes a part of the many voices that share each day from their hearts and compassion. I'm ending with the following message to Joyce and to all of you present. This is the day that I feel is recorded in the records of the life and of her soul. May she be blessed and held in the light of her calling. As a dear friend, I am speaking from my heart and soul, a truth I feel that announces to all that can hear. On this day, Joyce's life is transformed beyond measure. Furthermore, she is a teacher whose voice speaks from her heart and soul. There are times when humor and stories are a part of her shared wisdom. Excuse me. In the end, we are blessed and held in light, love, and total acceptance as to who we are. It is with my deepest honor and love from my heart and soul that I am sharing my feelings with each of you on this day as a part of Joyce's life journey. A path that has brought her to this place of inner peace and her deepest love for all life. On this day, I believe that the angels are singing and the stars are brightly shining, adding to this most treasured event in Joyce's life. This is my message to Joyce and everyone present on this June 11th, 2017. Sincerely and with great love, a friend and traveler, Roberta Wong. A little bit about my view of UCM and what happened with her. This is as a past president, and as someone whose husband ordained probably 50 people, and I've ordained a few. So I have seen a lot of candidates come to UCM. Many of them are new to the work, and they're fledglings, which we lovingly give a place to launch from. But this woman, when I was at our business meeting, and I was sitting in the front, and as I was trying to begin to snip, I was stepping down from the board. I had what we call turnout. I'd been in service long enough on the board, and I was stepping down, and as I was looking out into the room, I kept looking back to Joyce. And I wasn't sure then when her ordination would be, but I knew she was coming to us. And part of what UCM believes, as well as all the things that Dottie and has shared, and Ayleen, our new vice president, will share about UCM. One of the things that I learned, particularly from my husband, is that we are energy beings. And as energy beings, particularly, for example, as she was sitting in that chair for a period of time and things are coming to her, her own energy is building. And whether you see it or whether you feel it, you realize what a powerful, loving woman that she is. And that's what I saw as I was at the board meeting, because the business meeting takes a while, and every time I looked out, there was more energy with Joyce. And I said, Self, this person is coming to our church. And she is not just going to be under the protection of a church, which is very valuable as you do your work. There are people who are frightened by and resistant to our work sometimes. And so it's very valuable to have the protection of the ministries that says to the world, we are doing this work out of service and right heart. And that is what I saw with Joyce, is that she is coming into this ministry full blown. And she is bringing with her demonstrations that I felt here today of all the work that she has done through the years. And so UCM is not supporting her or launching her. UCM is blessed by her as she brings everything that she has done through her years of service into our umbrella and makes us more. And for this, I give her my loving thanks and my personal fidelity.
Ayleen, may I say something?
Yes.
I know this isn't part of the plan, but I'm a member, as many of you know, of the Serendipity Choir. We sing in about 35, 40 different churches all over the place. About 15 years ago, we ran into this lady named Deborah Johnson, who was a substitute reverend, as it were. She traveled from place to place to relieve other reverends so they could take time off. The first time we heard her, we afterwards went to her and said, when you get your own church, and she said, wait a minute, I'm not planning on getting my own church. And we said, no, when you get your own church, we will be there for you, and we will sing for you in your first church. She's the head of Inner Light Church in Santa Cruz now for about 15 years, and we've been with her ever since. And so I haven't known Joyce as long as some of the rest of you, but I can tell you right now, when you get your church in Santa Cruz, we will be there, okay? And luckily, I'm the booking agent for the choir. And you will have your own church, and we will join you, and you will start your own spiritual community out there, and we'd love to be part of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no pressure. When she was walking in, she said, wow, I'm really starting to get nervous. I said, you haven't even seen where you're sitting yet. Which I immediately followed with, it was Dottie's idea.
You know, one of the things I can say that probably nobody else can, I've known Joyce for over 40 years, so if I want to embarrass her, I'll embarrass her.
It is such a pleasure to welcome Joyce, you know, my cousin, my sister, my friend, and my spiritual contract, because I know that there's been a contract that's open between us to support and rejoice with one another. Rejoice. And what I would like to do is briefly share a little bit about the history of the Universal Church of the Masters. And it is tremendously, you know, empowering to be able to do that. It's tremendously humbling to have been asked to step up as the vice president of the church. And it is something to be cherished because it has a very long and amazing history, and I will share just a little bit of it with you. The church was founded in 1908 by Dr. William Briggs, known as Daddy Briggs. And one of my favorite things that I think really kind of embodies the aspect of the Universal Church of the Master is when he was described. Daddy Briggs never demanded nor required any commitment to his teachings or metaphysical insights, asking only that each person keep an open mind, try out these spiritual principles for themselves, and see if they worked as he said they would. The Universal Church of the Master it's a home. It's a place. The foundation is in the loving and beautiful Gospels of Christ, of Jesus. And from there, it branched out, embracing all, because what is the Christ consciousness if not universal? It may wear a different face, it may speak a different language, it may sing a prayer, or it may dance one, but it is the heart. It is the ocean to which these many rivers flow. And whether you were raised, I was raised a Catholic. I was going to become a nun because I loved the outfit. Then I found out about the no dating part. We had to reevaluate. And yet there was beauty in that. I love the tradition that I grew up in. I love the songs, I love the prayer, and I love the idea that at one point I was told by a priest, you know, he found me crying because my best friend had said something mean to me. And he said, well, Jesus will always be your best friend. God will always be your best friend. And he'll never say anything bad to you, and he will always see you as beautiful. When I first came to UCM, that's what I felt. That was that connection to the Master in the best possible use of that word. There's light and shadow to that word, and you know, I wear my African clothing to honor Joyce, to honor the lineage that we share, that we all share, because Africa is the birthplace of humanity. We're all connected there. We all have spirit there. And as we look at one another in this room, no two faces are alike, no two spirits are alike, and no two relationships with God is alike. And yet, we are many rivers that go to the same ocean. And I rejoice in that. And I rejoice in Joyce. And I know that as we moved forward next year, the UCM was incorporated in 1918. So next year we celebrate 100 years of incorporation. And I think, honestly, we are still saying, we don't demand anything. Just come with an open mind. Try it and see if it works for you.
Yes.
And if so, learn to share it. Learn to give it. The gift I received from UCM, the gift I received from connecting with a consciousness and a power that is not only love beyond my ability to understand it, but my best friend. And I know that Joyce will be a new best friend. So at this time, we are going to drop a glass of water.
Awesome.
And, you know, it's a little sprinkle baptism type of thing.
Is that your Catholic background?
Hey, you know, John the Baptist was involved in washing feet, right? Yeah. So I'm going to ask Joyce to stand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to administer the pledge. And for all of those who are reverends or ministers, I would ask that you, especially UCM ministers, as I am giving the pledge to Joyce, I ask that you reaffirm your pledge. That you speak those words in your heart. That when I ask, will you do this, you say, I will. And know that, this Joyce becoming a part of us means that we are a part of her. We will stand as her example and her mentors in the Universal Church of the Master. And she will bring new energy and new life and show us a new face to the Universal Church of the Master. So, my dear Joyce, rejoicing. Be it known to all present that Joyce C. Brown is an ordained minister of the Universal Church of the Master. Joyce, do you pledge to respect and esteem all beings regardless of race, creed, or color, to render all services in an ethical, professional, and spiritual manner with full respect for the dignity of man and deep regard for the welfare of the individual? And will you endeavor to conduct yourself in matters affecting this church and the community interest in such a manner as is to benefit the Universal Church of the Masters, the community, and my ministry? Do you pledge this?
I do.
Do you promise not to engage in any activity that constitutes any illegal practice of medicine or psychology, or knowingly mislead or misrepresent yourself of word, deed, or implication to be other than what you legally are, a UCM minister? And will you forever hold in complete confidence any and all information entrusted to you by any person seeking your help until such time as permission to divulge such information is clearly given by the person? And will you constantly strive to improve your knowledge, your skill, and your spiritual relationship to God in order to keep abreast of universal changes? Do you pledge this?
I do.
Will you strive at all times to prevent a true picture in your advertising and representation to the public? Will you present yourself in such a manner as to induce confidence, respect, and admiration for the Universal Church of the Master and your ministry? Will you conduct your ministries so that your relationships to other ministers and to the Universal Church of the Master's headquarters are supportive and courteous, and any and all differences will to be addressed with professional integrity? Do you pledge this?
I do.
Will you comply with all national, state, and local laws, as well as Constitution, bylaws, operating procedures, rules, and regulations of the Universal Church of the Masters pertaining to the conduct of your ministry? Will you strive always to grow in spirit and wisdom as you evolve toward oneness with your Creator? And do you pledge to have some fun?
I do.
This is her pledge. By it, she hopes to deserve your confidence and support, not by asking, but by demonstrating, doing, and being. Do you, who witness this, accept Joyce C. Brown as your sister reverend in the Universal Church of the Masters?
We do.
Yes.
And may I present for the first time on this planet, Reverend Joyce C. Brown.
Yay!
Yes. Oh, it's full. Yeah. Oh, pictures.
Coming.
Oh, and now, yes. Now, there are accessories.
Da 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 da.
The Reverend sash is a symbol. It is a symbol of service. It is a symbol of a willingness to be seen in service. It can be very difficult sometimes to step up and be who you are and to have that seen and to say, I am a minister, I am a reverend. And the sash represents Joyce's willingness to step up And as it was said, what you see with Joyce is what you get. And what you get is a reverend.
Yeah. Woo!
Thank you very much.
So at this time, we will be passing the basket. As this is a church. Sunday. And the aspect of abundance, it takes a lot to run a church. It takes a lot to be able to provide for this. And so we say, when we are preparing to gather the basket, giving to the ministry from which we receive our spiritual support and nurturing is an affirmation and consciousness of the truth that Spirit is the prospering power enriching every area of our lives.